Well, it looks like it's about to be another sleepless night for me. Honestly, I think it's starting to become a bad habit. And I am slowly starting to believe that I am becoming a vampire. Anyway, joke aside, I have been technically preparing some new ships, have some new projects. Last time I showed you the Ashmo, and well, the Ashmo, well, I mean, yeah, it's still not able to hold a lot of ships. I mean, any type of stab, warp crop, one single warp crop optimizer renders the Ashmo unable to basically hold the target unless I spend billions and billions for some fancy nanocores, which obviously I don't have so many billions for a nanocore. So I usually fly ships that have a lot of points by default, and one such ship is the Ortus. Now I will be flying the Ashmo, obviously. I want to go back to the ship. I just need to find a proper target for it that doesn't have stabs, but for vast majority of targets I usually use something with, you know, a bit more points like this thing. The Ortus has been running really well so far, although does still feel like the Ortus suffers from some of the old problems, especially after the micro warp drive change and after some of the implants have been changed. The Ortus does kind of technically suffer, but you will see more on that down the road. And there is the Stratus, which I like to use because this is such an evil ship. Now, I did mention some new ships that you will see. Still working on a build that I would like to use, but I did get the Gnosis and I got the Praxis. And yes, I did say a long time ago, when I do get these things, I'll be using them for PvP. And well, I just cannot wait to drop this thing on anything that flies, basically. It's one of those troll ships that I am slowly gathering. Now the Gnosis and the Praxis technically are not that bad. I just need to match them with something that, you know, with something their size, really. And they are ships that are basically here for fun. But the Gnosis and the Praxis do have some very interesting bonuses on turrets, missiles and drones. So I'm fairly sure I will be able to do something quite funny with these ships. And also they did get a free nanocore for both of these ships. Technically can also be used for exploration. I might do that, by the way, just for the lols and giggles. Might be fun to see. And since I'm already mentioning the Praxis, I don't have the Praxis 2 at the moment, but eventually I will get the Praxis 2 as well, and obviously I will fly. But for now, the Praxis 1 is, yeah, there it is, okay. One thing that I kind of forgot, how big this ship is. Just look at how big this thing is. It can't even fit through the station, and you can't zoom in or zoom out. Honestly, I totally forgot how massive these things are. It's a very big and very weird ship, but I do like how it looks, and believe it or not, I might be able to get something funny going on with this thing. 2.4 kilometers, that's a pretty big ship indeed. But yeah, doesn't matter what ship it is, I will find a use for it, and that includes the Praxis and Gnosis. I really want to do something quite silly with these things, and as you guys know, I like to do funny things with my ships, so yeah, I have two new ships to play around with, and cannot wait to actually do something with them. Now let's go to the first target for today. We have a Bhaalgorn. Yeah, and yes, I did have an idea to drop a Praxis on a Bhaalgorn. The thing is, I didn't have the ship ready. They're still not fitted. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to build them.
Warp drive active.
But yeah, you can expect me dropping some Praxis battleships on a Bhaalgorn, and you can expect me to kill it. Because that's just what I like to do nowadays. But for now, the Macari will feast on Bhaalgorns. Why do I like to drop a Makaril on Bhaalgorns, you mean? Or you will probably be asking, well, the Makaril likes to have a Bhaalgorn snack, and I like to shoot Bhaalgorns with the Makaril, so why not? Well, I started to blast before I scrambled the target because, yeah, I did not expect any tank on that Bhaalgorn. And this is one of the easiest Bhaalgorn kills that I've ever had so far.
We're under attack.
The one thing was a little bit weird. Why did they have like beam lasers? And why have they been around 0 with beam lasers? That's kind of weird. Beam lasers, you know, are long range weapons. You should not be close to the target with them. And a Bhaalgorn with beam lasers is kind of weird by default. A Bhaalgorn has very good web range and very good bonuses on Nosferatus, so it is practically built for close range, so that was kind of weird to see a long range Bhaalgorn doing close range things. 4 billion, not bad. So they had pulse lasers, okay, a full DPS Bhaalgorn, but why did they also had like beam lasers? I looted beam lasers, didn't I? Well, in any case, that was a weird Bhaalgorn. A full-on DPS built in LowSec. What could possibly go wrong? Now let's go to the next target. We have a Drake. Now the Drake, I actually thought to use the Ashmu for it. I eventually gave up on that idea because the Drake didn't have a good warping, and the Drake, well, I mean, let's say the Drake was a bit far away, and I needed something that's fast, and the Ortus is definitely faster than the Ashmo, but also was worried that the Drake might have some stabs, so I eventually just said to myself, let's just take the Ortus and let's see what happens. So the good thing about the Ortus, it's fast. The speed on the more Norwegian ships was buffed a while ago, and now with the recent buff I can have like 4 points. That's more than enough, and now I'll orbit at 38 kilometers. That Drake is in trouble now. Doesn't seem like the Drake has a lot of tank, which means that the Drake is a DPS Drake, which should do quite a bit of damage, and yes, they are doing quite a bit of damage. Okay, thankfully, I have the active tank Ortus here. This is basically my old school build with the Ortus. I used to fight this thing in this way back when it was a new ship, and with great success, by the way. The only big change here is that extra point that I have on this thing for disruptors, because why not? I actually thought about using 5, but it felt silly. I thought to myself, well, that one guidance control might actually be, that one guidance disruptor could be more useful, and it was more useful. Well, I mean, maybe not. But that Drake is now in a low hull. I'm in 55% shield, which is fine. And now let me go and check out what's inside of the wreck. I do expect a decently expensive Drake. And, well, not bad. I did get some C-type missiles, which is always nice to get. And now I'll warp out to wait out the criminal timer, and then, well, and then I'll align myself to the station and slowly boost back the shield. They did some damage on my shield, but that's why I like to have the booster on this thing. It does help a lot. The Drake does feel like did feel like they had the implant and a good nano core. 480 million, not bad. Yeah, that was a DPS Drake and a illusionary ghost core, which did look like it was decently leveled up. Well, that was a good catch and a good kill. Let's see, what do we have next? Oh, an oracle. Okay, that means I am in the Stratus. Now, a little fun fact. I have been chasing this oracle for maybe a couple days now, and they would usually leave system the second I show up. And I was AFK, the game disconnected, and they came back to the mission, and it just so happened that I logged in right at the right time. So let's see what's going to happen to the oracle. Now I don't know what's the warping going to be. Okay, looks like they came from the gate, and they are moving though, and they do have a interesting nano core, so could potentially be a expensive oracle. No, they have been moving. They are moving, so the warping is not going to be exactly like super close to them. I don't expect to land right at 0. My estimate is maybe like 20 kilometers. That's the warping estimate that I give based on what I saw from the angle there.
Warp drive active.
But I'm going back in. Now the good thing is this is a Stratus, and I'm not really worried about, you know, messing up with this thing. It's very hard to mess up with the Stratus. Well, 38 kilometers. I was wrong for 18 kilometers. Okay, that's fine. That means time to slowly approach. And the oracle, they are... I think this is the first wave, so we do have enough time to approach. And one thing that can happen, the oracle might start moving towards me. One of my favorite things to do with the Stratus is to slowly approach ships that think that they're safe, but they're not safe because they're not orbiting properly or they're not lined properly. They're using beam lasers, so that's fine. A 0 kilometer orbit will work just fine. Now, where is my tactical overview? I forgot to enable that. Why was this disabled? I forgot. There we go. Now that's better. Now I feel more comfortable. Okay. The last time when I was stalking an oracle, someone jumped in the system, scanned and scared them off. Hopefully that doesn't happen this time. So this is why it's important that you have a good scanner. If you don't have a good scanner, well, you will alert. And beautiful, Omega expiration, just what I needed. 20 kilometers, still approaching. It is surprising to me that it doesn't seem like they have a lot of DPS. It took them a while to destroy that battleship. Oh well, I'm still approaching. We're very, very close to the oracle now. I mean, when I say very close, I don't know when I will tackle. I'll just wait till I'm very close, or maybe it might happen any moment now. 12 kilometers. Orbiting at 0, preparing to decloak. Decloaking after burner is on, scrambled, and let's focus fire. Spam that focus fire button because you never know when the drones decide to glitch out. Orbiting at 0, and let's turn on the damage amplifier. Well, as expected, a assault battlecruiser usually doesn't have a lot of tank. And that was a beautiful kill. Let's take a look at the wreck. Let's kill the pod. Well, I did get some beam lasers, so I'm obviously not going to say no to beam lasers. Always nice to get some beam lasers. And cloaked. That's nice. That was a good catch. Let's take a look at the kill 500 million. Okay, well, a classic sniper. They had 2 warp compromisers, so good thing that I had 3 scramblers, just enough to hold them. This is why Stratus is such a very evil ship, because 4 medium slots, I mean, if they do buff the Stratus and give this thing a 5th medium slot, this thing would be absolutely insane. I would definitely fly the Stratus with 4 scramblers in that case. 45 million is good, that's nice. Can't complain about the loot drop, was pretty decent, honestly. I mean, decent. Any loot drop is now good enough for me. I'm not too greedy about the loot. I'm here for the fun, as I've said before. Let's go to the next target, and we have a little vampire. Oh no, a Kruor. Kruor is about to get sent back to Ita.
Warp drive active.
You know, it's funny, I would actually use the Astra versus frigates. The thing with the Astra is I don't really like to use it for PvP, although the Astra is a pretty evil little ship. But my Astros right now are not really, you know, meant for PvP. I have 2 of them, and both are meant for scanning. And one,
Warp drive active.
I think one Astra needs to be sold because I don't really use it. I already have 1 Astra, the original Astra. I only ever bought like 2 of these ships. I've never lost an Astra, but the only Astra that I bought was the null Astra that I used when I was in the Alliance a couple months ago. And ever since we left,
Docking request
I haven't
accepted.
really used that Astra at all because it was pretty cheap. And the other Astra is my original Astra from 3-4 years ago that is still alive, and I still fly it. It's yeah, it's this one. That's the OG Astra. One of the first ones on the server, and it's still alive. I like how I have like a bunch of ships that are like the first on the server in some cases, like the first manufactured and sold. So like how they're still alive and still floating around, even though most of ships from that period have been completely destroyed or abandoned, or you know, in one way or the other they have met their end. Now that Kruor is running classic anomalies, which is a little bit suspicious.
Docking request accepted.
That Kruor doesn't seem like it's doing Kruor stuff. So I'll go back to the Stratus because just in case. A Kruor can be a dangerous opponent, but honestly I'm not really worried about a Kruor that much, since it's probably one of few ships that I would legitimately buff because it feels so underwhelming. Even though I like the Kruor so much, it is kind of a underwhelming ship when we compare it to the Garmor or the other frigates. Not useless, it can be used, but it's still a odd ship to fly, indeed. And I mean, why would you fly a Kruor when you can fly a Sakmas, for example, or ships like that, or a Garmor which has a bonus on scrammers and long range disruptors. Okay, well this Kruor just finished this anomaly. I'm not really sure what they're doing, but I'll be following them. Doesn't look like they have a nanocore, also don't see any kill marks on it. And they went to a medium anomaly. Okay, well that's a mistake that they're about to... That's one mistake that they made, and I will follow.
Warp drive active.
Yeah, that Kruor is about to be yeeted, that's for sure. I have loaded my bombs, 3 webs and a scrambler. Orbit is at 0, drone orbit at 4. Well, they warped at 0. I didn't. I did not want to get a cloak by accident. And let me approach. What they do seem like having some decent DPI. I mean, it's just a tier 4 anomaly, right? But let me slowly approach. I thought
Enemy
about
ships
changing my
detected.
warping, but decided against it because by the time I warp back, they could potentially finish the mission, and yeah, that's not something that I would love to see happening. But I mean, the anomaly. This is not a mission. This is just a classic anomaly. But yeah, they will be flying straight towards me. That's a big. Yep, this crew is so dead. This crew is so dead. Wait, why is my what is my ship doing? No, don't go away from it. Go towards it. Did you see how my ship just wanted to leave? That was weird.
We're under
I set my
attack.
approach to 0, not 23 kilometers. That was weird. Oh well, the crew got blown up pretty quickly, to be honest. And it looked like a PvP crew, perhaps? Perhaps not. I don't know. We're about to find
Warp
that
drive
out
active.
very soon. Okay, now what have we even killed here? Let's find out. Ignore that. That was me plugging the phone into the charger because why not? Crew 268 million. Well, that's I don't know how to describe this build. Did look like they did have the pulse crystal or the focus crystal implant there. In any case, that was a weird build on the crew. Let's go to
Undocking.
the next target. We have a hurricane. Now, I figured out to use the Ashmu a little bit, and I am sending the Ashmu right at the
Warp drive active.
hurricane. Now the hurricane wasn't exactly at 0, but I have dual webs and a long range disruptor. I mean, this is the classic Ashmu build that I used, and you know what's funny? This kind of build still works. It still works even to this day. The thing that doesn't work is aligned. That hurricane was aligned. They haven't been aligned
We're
when I was
under
checking
attack.
out the first time, but they have aligned
We're under
when
attack.
Warp drive active.
when the new wave spawned. I should have used the Stratus for this, not the Ashmo. This is the thing that makes the Ashmo a bit weird lately. It's not exactly a ship that can do. I mean, it obviously can catch ships like that, but you just have to really hope that they don't have any stabs. No, I had the idea to return and just
Warp drive
wait
active.
until they come back, which I might actually do, since this is a active tank Ashmo, the old school active tank Ashmo, and it is surprisingly capacitor stable, even though it doesn't seem like it. This thing is very capacitor stable, so if I want even more capacitor stability, I would use an afterburner. Against battleships, I actually like to use afterburner on a
We're under attack.
beam laser build. It is just so satisfying to slowly destroy a battleship with this thing, especially if you have like a good tank build. I might improve the tank on this down the road. Might even slap some tank integrations for it, just so I can enhance the
We're
ship
under
boost a little bit.
attack.
Because I know the Ashmo can this thing can really be a very good active shield tank. So that's the overall idea behind the Ashmo. And the Hurricane did return, but they warped at 100 kilometers, and they are now straight warping out. If I warped at 100, well, if I did that, I would have probably caught them, or they would stab out if they have stabs. So it is honestly a, a matter of luck
Undocking.
at that point. And well, let's go to the next target. We have a Piracy. Now the Piracy, I don't know if you know, but the Piracy is a next target. No, this is a funny one because I actually expected a battle venture out of this venture, because I looked at the corp and at the alliance. Usually I expect PvP ships from the
Warp
alliance
drive
and from the
active.
corp, but I don't know, apparently not anymore. I mean, you will see what I'm talking about very soon. But yeah, I did expect a battle venture out of... I expected a bait. I did expect a bait. Wasn't the first battle venture that I stumbled upon, but I see mining lasers, so yeah, that's definitely not a battle venture, but a kill is a kill. Not going to say no to a free stripe on my venture 3. I have like, how many kills I have on this thing? I forgot, like 30 already. It's not much, but it's still kind of funny that my venture is starting to farm kills. I plan to, might actually do this right after I
Warp drive active.
finish recording the video. Might do something quite funny, but in any case, that was, yeah, kind of funny to be honest. That was kind of funny to be honest. And yes, I will dock with timer, because why not? Just to see if the last update changed anything. It's nice to check this with a cheap ship.
Warp
You
drive
definitely
active.
do not want to check this with an expensive ship, because if you do, and if the ship fails to dock, boom, say hi to a juicy lost mail. And sometimes you actually give the kill to the ship that you fought. If they did
Docking
shoot at
request
you, they get a
accepted.
kill in the end, which is kinda funny to say the least. Alright, well, and let's take a little peek at the kill. I mean, it's just a venture, I don't really expect much. Well, that's, yeah, what I expected. In any case, hope you guys enjoyed. That would be it for today. We had some pretty nice kills today. It was pretty fun, to be honest, and I'm definitely looking forward to see what kind of fights I'll get myself into next. And but with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.